So today we're going to be testing this Corroseal rust converter on our little test subject wheel, this really old camper wheel. So this is the stuff that we apply with a brush, and we just got a cheap brush from Harbor Freight. We're going to apply it, see what happens, and go from there. So we poured a little bit of it into a little cup we made here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our brush, we're going to dip our brush in that there fluid, and we're going to apply it to the rusty areas, and the rusty areas should start to turn a different color. And we're going to do half of this here wheel, and we're going to leave the other half untouched to see a difference of before and after. We're just going to repeat this, and we don't want to put anything we pour out back into the bottle because our brush is contaminated now with all of this good rusty stuff right here. Good old rust belt. And we're just going to keep on doing this till we got at least one coat. This is a 2-coat application, and you can do the second coat after the first 20 to 40-ish minutes, depending on the temperature and humidity and all that good stuff. But it's about 70 degrees, approximately, it's a 50% relative humidity at the moment up here in Illinois. And we are going to let that sit. Now this is water-based, so we should be able to clean our brush up by running it through some water. So we're going to do that as we let this first coat dry. It has been 20 minutes since the first coat has been applied, and as you can see, we've turned one side into a bit of a black substance. Now, not all of it is dried because we put it on a little thick apparently, and some of the globs have yet to evaporate or smooth out into whatever it's going to be. But we're going to apply the second coat now with the leftover Corroseal in this cup, and maybe try and do a better job at putting a light coat on there instead of such a heavy coat that leaves some puddling. And maybe we can spread that puddle around a little bit, just making sure we capture every surface that we can. Yeah, it seems like we can move some of that black puddling around a little bit and distribute it a little better. Really get all of it here. Not doing a fancy job, just doing a quick job. See if this stuff works. Because if it does, got a lot of things that it could be used for. Alright. That's more or less our second coat. Hopefully not too globby. And we're going to let this coat sit for 24 hours. And then we'll come back to it as it needs to cure for that long. It's been about 26 hours now since we applied the Corroseal, and this is what the tire rim looks like now. So one side is obviously very rusty, the other side has this kind of black looking coat to it. But you know, I can rub my hands on it and it's not flaking off, it's not like a powder. It seems to be staying on quite well. So to further this experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to spray part of this wheel in truck bed coating. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply it so that way one half of the rusty side gets it, one half of the Corroseal side gets it. That way we can see what happens when nothing is coated, when it's coated with paint but no Corroseal, when with Corroseal plus paint and just Corroseal by itself. This is our fresh coat of that spray paint, And we did put it on a bit thick, but I wanted to make sure we got all of what we wanted to paint covered. We're going to let this paint dry, and then we're going to put the wheel in the rain and see how it holds up. This is the result of our little experiment. We've got the bare metal here, the bare metal painted with Corroseal here, bare metal painted with just paint here, and the Corroseal with paint spot right here. Well, what's interesting is the side with just the paint fared better than the side with paint and Corroseal. Now, one thing to remember is rust is more or less like a cancer. The problem with this test is it's all one piece of metal. So even if you paint over it, even if you convert it, the rust is still going to creep its way underneath. And that's ultimately going to be a problem. Unless the entire metal surface that you're working with, that complete part, is covered with paints from the beginning, it's going to rust. And even if you get Corroseal on some spots and then paint it, it will still rust through. Because if any part that is metal that can rust is touching another part that has rust on it, that rust is going to find its way over regardless of the Corroseal and paint. It's unfortunate, but you can see how we divided this. Corroseal this side, no Corroseal this side, and paint this side, no paint that side. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite look like the product worked. So this ancient old steely rim doesn't look like it's going to be saved by any sort of rust converter, paint, or any combination of the two. At least not this one.